melt is when I'm ocean waves.
Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have Patriot Coach Sherman Rivers back again. This time we're going to preview the state semifinal and also review his recent quarterfinal victory against Lansdowne. Coach, thanks for joining me.
I appreciate you having me, man. I'm glad I'm here under these circumstances. It means we did something good. So,
yeah, I mean it's going well. I mean, what are your emotions right now? Last year at this time, it was a devastating loss. You get to this. You got to the quarterfinals. No, actually, this was the game we didn't. You got to this game, but this is the game we didn't advance. So, what are your emotions this year? I know last year when you lost to Battlefield, I thought I would throw that out there again. You never know when you're going to get back to a state semifinal. So you always feel like when you're there, you got to take full advantage of it. And so you there was no guarantee you were going to come back this year, but you're here. So so what is your feeling right now?
Feels good. I told the kids, I told our coaches and everybody involved that, you got to enjoy this. Like you said, there's no guarantee that you're going to get back to a certain point to redeem yourself from what happened the season before. You never know what's going to happen. But, just because it's not something that is guaranteed, it was our expectation to at least give ourselves a chance to get back to that point. So, our kids did an excellent job of doing everything they had to do in the offseason. Obviously, they've navigated the season up to this point and have put themselves in position to give themselves a chance to be in VCU.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Friday's game, but generally, your regular season strategy worked. You scheduled yourself a very tough schedule, incurred some losses this year, unlike last year. But you guys, the postseason, knock on wood, could not have been any easier for you. You breezed through pretty much all your games. Do you feel like your preparation this regular season was the right one?
I mean, listen, this can go back to the summer. Our preparation, the amount of teams that we have played that are high-level basketball teams, just looking from the summer all the way through the regular season and the postseason. I mean, we played John Marshall at the DC Live event. We played Archbishop Carroll there. We played some really good teams out in Philadelphia. We played in the Capital Hoop Summer League that's at DeMatha, with obviously all the top private schools in the area being in that. Got to see Gonzaga and Georgetown Prep during that league and other teams like that. Landon, it was a very good team. Regular season, obviously, we played Hayfield to start the year, which, we see what they're doing. They're still going right now, obviously, in the Final Four. Largo, who is in the state semifinal, I want to say, in Maryland right now and won their region. Winston Churchill, who won the Montgomery County Championship, and I'm not sure how they're doing in the playoffs as of right now. And I didn't even check to see how the team in Delaware is doing that we lost to, but that's another good game. And, it was very important for us to play a challenging schedule. As we played Hampton, played LC Bird, played Western Branch. So we've got different teams from different parts of the state, try to see how different teams play. So it was important for us to play as many tough teams as possible. So when you get to this point in the season in the playoffs, it doesn't feel like such a task because you've already seen a lot of really tough competition. I think that our guys have done a great job, more so on the defensive end, the way that we're playing. Seeing all the different types of athletes, the type of players that we've seen. So when we get into a game and tomorrow where there's a 6'8" guy in the middle, it's not a shock to them, like, oh my God, because we've probably seen 7 to 8 of them in the last some odd months with the type of teams that we have played. So,
yeah. Well, Coach, when you think about an opponent, would you rather play a new opponent, a kind of interesting matchup, or actually, I think you've played them recently, but or would you rather play Battlefield for the 12th time?
Well, like I told you before, I would rather. It doesn't matter who we play, but I obviously enjoy the fact that Battlefield isn't in it because they're our rival, and I never want them to win. So, but having to have played them again wouldn't have been a big deal to me. Obviously, they're a really good team, but we are as well. So, playing a new opponent, it's fun. We talk about the issues with VHSL and the things that they're doing. It's great to see these different teams from different parts of the state, unlike in the old northern region where they're just kind of playing each other and see how it figures it out. But it's one of those things. Everybody's going to be good at this time of the year, so it really doesn't matter who you play because you got to be ready to go.
Yeah, it comes down to that. Now, Oscar Smith, is the game going to be down there or is it up here?
Up here,
Okay.
up here.
When is,
So it'd be
right?
at Gainesville on Monday at 7:00.
Okay. So I guess I guess they rotate. So if you have two top seeds win, they got to choose one or the other. So that worked into your favor. So what do you know about Oscar Smith? You did not play them this year. What do you know about them and what are some of the things that they're going to try to do on the court?
I mean, it's interesting enough. The last couple of teams we played have kind of been similar, just kind of like Oscar Smith. Not necessarily their personnel, each person, but how they're trying to attack you. Offensively, they're doing a lot of 4-out 1-in stuff. They got a really athletic young kid down there in the post house. We talked about him, the 6'8" kid. They got sophomore that's really good. Their guards are very good. They're trying to attack. They can shoot it. So, no, we haven't played them this year, but we have played them in the past. It was all the way going back to 2018, my second year at Patriot, and we actually beat them at the buzzer down in the Virginia Preps Classic. So, at Green Run. So, we haven't seen each other this season, but I've watched enough film in the last couple of days to kind of get an idea of what they want to do, and it helps us to be the top of the bracket, so they got to travel all the way up here to us. But at the end of the day, we got to come out, we got to execute, we got to take care of business because they're a good basketball team. But I really feel good about our guys.
Yeah. Well, what are some? I know you mentioned execute. What are some of the keys to playing a 4-out 1-in type of team? I'm trying to think if I've seen one of those in Northern Virginia this year. But what are some of the keys to that kind of attack?
They want to spread it out and obviously have a big guy in the middle to have free reign to do what he needs to do. They're not really trying to throw it into the post to the guy that starts the backup. They do, but they're just trying to give space and opportunity for their guards to be able to make plays off the bounce. They'll do some ball screen stuff, some of that sort of action, and then they're athletic and they'll get after you and press a little bit and stall and throw some zone out there. So they do a lot of different things. So we just got to, we've seen a lot of different things throughout the season. I feel like there isn't a defense we haven't seen yet this year, or some sort of gimmick that people have tried to do against us. So we'll be prepared. We'll practice today. VHSL gave us the opportunity to do that today since we got to play tomorrow. We'll dive into what they want to do, walk through some stuff, but we'll be ready for the game tomorrow for sure.
Yeah. Did you see tape of the Lansdowne Oscar Smith game?
I did.
Yeah,
did.
So
yeah.
They were able to keep them close. So how would you analyze that matchup?
I think it's more the familiarity with those guys down there. It kind of happens. And then when you play those games in those arenas, the scores tend to be a little bit lower. People don't shoot it as great because kids aren't used to that sort of environment in the open areas behind the basket. But, I can't really gauge things off of how they played against somebody else. I've been telling our guys all year that we get different people when they walk in our gym or where we're playing because, of the reputation we've given ourselves throughout the state and how well we've been for the last some odd years. So, we just got to be ready for what they're going to throw at us. And if they do something that we weren't prepared for, make the adjustment and go from there.
Yeah. Well, let's go back quickly to your quarterfinal game. Lansdowne came up to Gainesville High School and played you guys on a neutral court. Coach Carlos told me that you guys had talked and you felt really good about your defense that night. I didn't see a box score. So what was some of the breakdowns of that game?
Listen, we the way we've been defending the last 5 or 6 games throughout this playoff stretch, I think has been phenomenal. Probably some of the best team defense that we've had all year, saying a lot because I think that we've guarded really well throughout the season. We haven't had anybody score more than 50 points going back, I want to say, at least to the start of the region tournament, and probably so much in the district tournament, to be honest with you. Yeah. But, it's one of those things that they came up, they had some athletes, they had a really good big guy inside. We did some things to try to make it hard for him to get it inside to him with the way that we guarded it and our help on the backside. We weren't great offensively, only scored 52 points, but we were efficient in what we were doing. But to hold a team to 36, and really it probably was less than that because we kind of cleared the bench and got the guys in there at the end, the last about 2 minutes or so. But that's the second time we've held a team in the 30s during this run. Did it against Potomac as well. So we just really been locking in on the defensive end, swarming around. Guys are helping recover, and they're getting out the shooters. And even when they get beat, somebody's there to help out. So I've been really happy with our defensive effort. You can kind of see the guys focus getting a little bit sharper as we get to this point of the season because we got a lot of guys that were in this situation last year, so they're trying to be focused on the task at hand.
Yeah. Well, you hear a lot about Hayfield's depth this year, but you've really, I saw a game recently. I forgot which one it was, but you played 9 or 10 against a really good opponent. So your roster is really deep. So not that you want this going in, but you can endure a little foul trouble. You got guys that can come in and give you some great minutes. So how deep are you these days?
We're playing 9 or 10 guys. We've got some excellent contribution from guys off the bench for us. Brady Page, Abe Halim, Mekhi Dillard, definitely at the top of that list, being a guy that got some recognition for honorable mention all district, the way he's been for us in Swiss Army knife, playing multiple positions, guard multiple people. Ryan Keenan has had a really good stretch as of late. And then we got the young kid at the point, Kai Wilcox, who comes in and plays spot minutes here or there and does some things for us. So I've always, been happy with the depth that we come out with and the way that we play. It's something that has been a staple for us for years now. The standard is the standard, and even when we make subs, we expect guys to come in and make plays and do what they're supposed to do, regardless of who's in the game. So our practices are highly competitive. It's not something where it's as good as our starting five is, where they're just dominating every day. They're getting their butts kicked on days too. So that shows the amount of ability in the guys that are on our team and the effort they give to get us prepared for games.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Dillard on the all district team, I believe. I saw a little bit of controversy about the all regional team on the on Twitter. Now, there's a lot of great players in that region.
Right.
How'd you feel about the all? I did hear that Isaiah was on the second team, which was a little bit surprising to me. But I don't know. I wasn't there for many of the games. How'd you feel you were treated in the all region?
It's one of those things that I'm sure that they don't like it, but I felt that my 5 starters deserved to be first team all district. I just did. It wasn't anything as a slight against anybody else. I just thought that our kids did what they're supposed to do. One thing is, as coaches, that is the hardest thing for us to do, is to get kids to buy in and to play a role in the confines of the team and not be worried about themselves. And I think that our kids have done that at the highest level that they can. We got 5 starters that average between 10 and 13 points. You take one of those guys out and you put them at another school, they're probably averaging 20. And I feel like, as basketball coaches and the way that we view the game, you got to see kids and the things that they're doing and the efficiency they're doing it at. And that's the hardest thing for young kids to figure out. And if they're doing those things at a high level and winning on top of that, I feel like they should be rewarded. Unfortunately, Desmond was the odd man out for the all district team. When we go to those meetings, they ask me, say, who do you think your best guy is? I said, pick a day. Our guys, it's somebody steps up different every day. It could be this guy this night, it could be another guy another night, and Desmond's our leading scorer and had to be second team all district. Because he's second team all district, he automatically isn't eligible to be all region. So, it put himself in a situation where one of the best guards in our area, probably in Northern Virginia, is not on the all region team, will not have a chance to be all state. But, he understood that. He took it, somewhat personal, as like he's being disrespected, as he should. But he knows that it's a bigger task for us to try to get the state stuff done and to win. And then he has another year as a senior to show everybody why they were wrong for putting them in the places that they did.
Yeah, he can prove it on the court. He got some big games up here to do so as well. Hey, so Coach, did you get a chance to watch the tape of the quarterfinals in the northern region and the Occoquan region? Did you get a chance to watch Hayfield against?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I haven't had a chance to watch them. I talked to Los about it, and he kind of broke their game down for me and told me how it went, and then he was telling me about the other game. It's that time of the year that I just got to worry about what we got in front of us, and not necessarily worry about watching these other games, especially with the time frames of how we have to prepare for it. So, if we are fortunate enough to do what we need to do on Monday,
I'll watch the other semifinal game, but watching those quarterfinal games wasn't necessarily the top of the list of things for me to do.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting is South Lakes over the last 6 weeks, their scores has been as dominant as Hayfield and Patriot. They did not play the type of teams you guys played early in the year, and obviously they're very young and inexperienced. But at this time they're playing really well. Do you expect that game to be a close game?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a very good game. Mike Desmond does an excellent job with his guys. Obviously, the growth that they've had over the season, like you said, they are not the same team that they were at the beginning, which is a testament to his staff and the job that they've done with those kids and how those kids have bought into what he's asking them to do. Having a really good player like they do with the young kid they got, Jordan Scott helps, but they play very good team basketball, especially on the defensive end. So I expect them to, go out and they're not going to just lay down and let Hayfield, go on to the next game. They're going to do the best they can to try to get there themselves. So I expect it to be a tough fought game. Well, like you said, it's the Final Four, so everybody at this point is really good.
Do you feel like pissing people off and making a prediction on that game?
No, I'm not gonna make a prediction. Just like I said, I'll worry about us and what we're doing, and then we'll deal with what goes on with them after that.
Yeah. Well, Coach, congratulations. Right now, everything's going to plan. You're where you need to be. I believe you're healthy going into this game.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, wish you best of luck. It's great. I would love to see you guys win this game because then we know the champion is going to come from the Northern Virginia area. So it'd be, we're all pulling for you. And so, we can settle any intra-family stuff on Friday, but first of all, we need you to get by Monday's game so we can get that matchup.
Yeah. We got to take care of business. We don't want to look ahead. It's a very good basketball team coming up here, so we got to make sure we do what we need to do.
That's great. All right, Coach, best of luck. Hopefully I'll be talking to you later on this week.
All right. Thanks, Julian.
Yeah, sounds good. Take care.